Unfortunately, the Russia-Ukraine war is still ongoing. Thousands of lives have been taken, families are broken, millions of people's daily life are disrupted. The war not only impacted human lives, but also our global economy. And I think this war has put the Fed into further dilemma. And why do I say so? Look here, before the war broke out, remember I said in my previous videos that our economy is in a bizarre situation. On one hand, high inflation, and on the other hand, indicating a slowdown of economic activities. Everyone's eyes were on Fed to see how the Fed can balance the situation of slowly lowering down inflation while not causing further slowdown in the economy. That's already a hell of a job for the Fed. But now with Russia invading Ukraine, the war has caused the price in energy, food, and raw materials go even higher. Crude oil almost reached $120 per barrel, which is near the highs in 2011. This will be devastating for the economy. Oil is widely used in many industries as input material for production and also as aid for running machines. For example, petroleum, which is extracted from crude oil, is used to produce plastic and our cosmetics. And the increasing oil price will make transportation of goods more costly. So the cost of production and the cost of transportation for many goods are going up. And together with high prices in raw material and food, this will likely lead to even higher inflation. Then on the other side, the war is also likely to slow down economic activities even further. For example, the sanctions on Russia airlines will also impact the goods transportation from China to Europe. So the trade will slow down, and the shortage of raw materials will also slow down the production. Overall, we are in a mess. Higher inflation and further slowdown of the economy. Now, just imagine this. The inflation and the economy are two horses that the Fed is trying to hold through the reins. Normally, these two horses go side by side in one direction. But now, instead of the two horses both going forward in the same direction, the two horses are now going in the opposite direction of each other and leaving the Fed in the middle. The Fed is still trying to hold both of them though, and in our best hope, maybe the Fed could successfully pull the two horses back together. But let's say if the two horses go even crazier, which is always a scenario, the Fed could potentially lose control totally. But what actually could trigger this worst case scenario? Let's have a look at all the scenarios that we could be facing first. Scenario number 1. The war ends soon within a month. In this case, when the war ends, the pressure on energy and food prices are likely to come down. Even though the actual supply increase of those goods might take longer, but the consumer expectation is that the price will come down. This expectation already helps to relieve the inflation pressure. So in our horse analogy, the inflation horse has slowed down and maybe stopped, although it hasn't started to come back yet, but at least not running further, which is very good. And on the demand side, consumers are likely to spend cautiously during and after the war. The decreasing demand will give the supply shortage time to breathe, which is also a good thing. So we are likely to see the inflation slow down if the war is very short. And this actually helps the Fed, because if the inflation starts to come down, the Fed doesn't have to aggressively raise interest rates, which is good for the economy and the stock market. This could be our best scenario for now. And scenario number 2, the war lasts much longer, say more than 2 to 3 months. In this case, the pressure on energy and food prices will continue to go up. The production and supply of goods will further be disrupted as well. So this creates a more sticky inflationary situation, and the consumer demand will decrease because the longer the war lasts, the less the consumer will spend on discretionaries, which in turn slows even further the economic activities. Then factories and companies might start to lay off employees because of high cost and low earnings. So in this case, people spend less, companies lay off employees, the unemployment rate increases while inflation is still high. This also means the Fed has basically lost control of the two horses, and in response to this, the Fed is likely to increase rates aggressively to fight inflation. Whether it will help or not, we don't know, but the Fed is likely to intentionally shock the economy and push it into a recession. The stock market will of course do poorly in this scenario, but the stock market is not what you'd care about at that time. more people will suffer through unemployment and struggle with their finances. Trust me, no one wants a recession, so let's hope the war ends very soon for everyone's sake. But since no one knows exactly what will happen, the war remains the biggest uncertainty in the market. However, there are two particular sectors that are likely to do well no matter what scenario we are in. The first one might already be obvious to you, that is the defense sector, with companies that produce modern weaponries, including combat vehicles, ships, bombers, fighter jets, and also companies that offer robotics. This is because due to this war, the EU and US are going to increase their defense budget dramatically. Germany, for example, has decided to increase its spending on defense to more than 2% of its GDP. In euro terms, this means 100 billion euros for military investment from its 2022 budget. That is compared with Germany's entire defense budget of 47 billion euros in 2021. This move is a long-term strategic move for many countries, so I think the high spending on defense is likely to continue for at least the next 5 years. And interestingly, lots of innovation was born through military-funded research, like the computer and the internet, for example. The second sector includes companies that are offering cybersecurity, information technology, analytics, and intelligence systems. Think about it. Nowadays, countries are at war with each other all the time through cyber warfare and information warfare. Cyber warfare includes hacking government and financial systems to gain access to vital information or to paralyze those systems so no one can use it. And information warfare, believe it or not, we're in it all the time even though we don't realize it. And that is the power of this kind of war. We are all targeted through social media and being fed all kinds of propagandas all the time. The so-called media and public opinions are all carefully fabricated to make you think you know the right thing and doing the right thing. But in the end, we are being manipulated into our decisions. If you don't believe me, I recommend you to watch a documentary. It's called The Great Hack, and it's on Netflix. It is about a company called Cambridge Analytica that used the social media to manipulate the results for Brexit and the Trump election. A spoiler alert, they got the result they wanted. So countries would neither want their enemies to gain access to their digital systems, nor they want their enemies to manipulate their people's mind. But also make no mistake, your government is not innocent either. What all governments want is their exclusive right to manipulate your brain. Yeah, that's right, I said it out loud. I think many will hate me for saying this, but truth is always harder to hear, and I think you need to hear this. But in any ways, I believe a good portion of that defense budget will go into cybersecurity, information technology, analytics, and intelligence systems. And this is also a long-term strategic shift for all countries. That is why I'm very bullish in this sector. If you're interested to know what particular stocks that I'm watching for these two sectors, smash that like button so I know you will like such content, and subscribe so you don't miss it when I upload it. Now, I hope you find the information in this video helpful. I know some parts might be disturbing for you, but it's always good to know the potential of the things instead of being ignorant. Nevertheless, I hope you all stay safe no matter where you are. And that's it for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye!